Hey, folks, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for being with us. We got a great show for you. We're going to talk about redistricting. We're going to talk about more what KFC Steve Cohen is saying out of Memphis, because he's going to lose his seat, as well as the guy from the Democrat from Mississippi going to lose his. But I want to start the show talking about this hysteria that, well, I'm calling it hysteria. These reports coming in that a group of pastors were briefed about coming UFO disclosures and how it's going to send shockwaves across Christendom. And I want to talk about that because to me it just seems totally overblown and totally overhyped, regardless of what the government comes out and says, because it's not like trying to prove God a liar is a new strategy from a cosmic standpoint. That's what the enemy, that's what the devil has always tried to do. So what we tell you on the program today is that God is in control. Nothing new is under the sun. Jesus Christ is King. And the Paul Harrell program starts right now.
The Paul Harrell program.
All right, everybody, thanks so much for being with us. As always, we're broadcasting from the great state of Arkansas, and I am joined in seat number 3. We got Eric Haynes with us. Eric, how you doing, sir?
Great to be part of the conversation, sir.
It's always great to have you. So, yeah, there you see it, or you saw it in the thumbnail, this UFO hysteria. Now, we've kind of heard this for the last couple of months. You've heard it from people like Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna. You've heard it from Congressman in Tennessee Tim Burchett, talking about these coming UFO disclosures. What is a positive development, at least it's a positive development from what I can see, is many of the narratives, many of the words that are coming out of these people's mouths are saying the idea that these are green spacemen from Mars is not entirely accurate. And so you're hearing this term interdimensional being being thrown around, which, this is something that for the last 20 years, I would say, is kind of where I've been on it. I've always suspected that that's the case, that you can categorize these things from what we know of the Bible, what we can read in the Bible about, the different categories of life and that sort of thing, and that spiritual forces are real, and that it would be to the advantage of the enemy to mask around as some green space alien when you're really from the pit of hell, or have allegiance to the pit of to the gates of hell. So in that sense, I think a lot of people have been kind of vindicated that this is the new narrative. But with anything, we want to be cautious because there's always a psychological operation around the corner. Many people think there's going to be some sort of fake alien invasion in some really ham-fisted attempt to unite the world under, the communism. I mean, that'll be the solution, right? That's always the solution. Global warming. Well, how do we solve climate change? Well, communism, actually. How do we solve our democratic problems? Well, communism. How do we solve wealth inequality? Communism. How do we solve an invasion and an attack by aliens? Communism. Well, gee golly, wouldn't you know? That's always their solution. So we do have to be very careful.
The little green men are here to fix minimum wage and the ozone layer, huh?
That's exactly right. Exactly. The little green men are here to tell us that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is correct. And we've just been so stupid all along, right?
Tell Starbucks their lib coffee's way too expensive.
Yes.
They're going to fix all these things, huh?
The little green men are here to tell us that artificial intelligence is our friend and data centers are good for you.
And no, Lindsey Graham, we will not be taking you to our ship for the probe that you seek.
Yes, that's true. Lindsey Graham's like, now, I would really like a tour of your spaceship. Can you give me a tour, please? No, seriously. We do have a great Graham Watch segment for you planned later in the show because our friend of the show, friend of mine, Noel Fritch, was on Timcast in Real Life last night, ripping Lindsey Graham. Really, the entire ensemble was there ripping Lindsey Graham. So that is our Graham Watch coming up later. So congratulations to Noel Fritch. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate the friend that you've been to me. If it wasn't for Noel, this show would not be where it is right now. And it's great to always interview him as well. It's just great to see his success and getting on a show like that, and also being able to raise even more awareness that Lindsey Graham doesn't doesn't really make sense for a state like South Carolina at all. But speaking of weird, let's go to this story. So over the last 24 hours, from what I can tell, it's mainly focused amongst Pentecostals or people who are Pentecostal adjacent type denominations that are out saying that there was a group of pastors that was briefed. Now, first we were told that this group of pastors was briefed, by the government. Then I've heard that no, actually it wasn't the government. It was just some UFO researchers who know people in the government, or maybe there are people there that used to be in the intel community or oligarchy, or anyway, it's kind of unclear exactly, but there is an account. I mean, there are people with official accounts saying that they had a meeting where they were told to turn their phones on airplane mode. They were told to, which, by the way, that's a big deal. Like the idea that airplane mode would matter. I'm pretty sure you just need to have your phone off in a completely other part of the building, like airplane mode. Like that's going to really turn off the microphones that are listening to everything we say. But this is what we're hearing. We're hearing stories like this. I believe somebody named Dr. Dan is saying this was not a major official government prep meeting for churches everywhere. It was a small private Airbnb meeting with Alan Didio and Joseph Z. Phones on airplane mode. These are some of the accounts that have kind of sent Christian X into a little bit of a tailspin.
You and I recently just had a clandestine meeting in the middle of the woods, Airbnb in the middle of nowhere, Tennessee.
Yep.
And it was a very serious meeting. I mean, we're not having this conversation today just because we're trying to find something to talk about.
Yep.
This was some information that filled in some spaces, filled in some holes with people who know what they're talking about. We had to turn our phones on airplane mode.
We did.
This was a very I don't want to say confidential, very confidential meeting.
It was.
So we're going to be in a veiled way, because there's some
we're now
things we can't
talking
disclose.
about.
That's right.
That we're going to be sharing some things that we learned in the last 24 hours. So
It's about we were approached because of both of our programs,
Yes.
and some of the prophetic things I've shared, and the reams of information you've put out over the several years. They are gearing us up for the great deception that I believe what they're going to release is going to so fit the narrative. They're going to say Jesus was a spirit, enlightened being that came down, however they frame it with their terminology. He came down and he was one of these star people. And they're going to go down this whole avenue, and they're going to try to lay over Scripture all of their narrative, which is really demonic in origin. Can you share some of that?
yeah, and they're not going to be defamatory. They're not going to attack Christianity. They're going to say, "Oh, you're close.
You're close.
You're close. Here's what actually happened.
Come on. Yeah,
Here's
Alan,
what
that's
really
right.
happened." And
Yep.
I've written about this, I believe, in Summoning the Demon, but for decades, for a
Well,
very
you
long
have the
time.
other book. What is it? Antichrist?
Yeah, AI, Aliens, and the Antichrist.
Yeah, that book is awesome. We're seeing three things. I'm just going to go here and just try to write this out, because I believe that we've actually been, in some ways, vindicated of things we've talked about. So when we're talking about the alien, UFO, whatever, okay, so let's just call this UFOs. Number one, tech, and the data Alan and I just received, I think the stat was something around 95%, or the UFOs we see is high-level tech. Alan, do you want to comment on that at all?
Yeah, they mentioned most of what we're seeing are either technology from the United States government or adversarial governments that are making incursions in United States airspace. Now, a lot of that tech, that 95%, is reverse engineered tech.
Yes.
That's being used.
And they began to share things. We actually saw images of creatures.
Yeah.
And that was startling.
Yeah.
And number two, and Alan, you are so versed on this. Number two, blue beam, and I'll let you explain it.
Yes. In order to bring everyone under a one world religion, one world government,
Yep.
there is a plan for this. The globalists, the elites have a plan. And their plan is, number one, there'll be some sort of catastrophic event. It could be an earthquake, it could be a tsunami, that will uncover some documents that'll show the Bible isn't entirely true.
I know
and that
it.
we bring it all under one world religion.
They say is like 5% of what's actually going on out there. But the real,
So here's a few thoughts on this. Number one, it's not as if the Bible being true is something that is promoted by secular governments right now across the world. As a matter of fact, most of the people who are in charge of all governments across the world don't actually purport to say that. They don't believe that the Bible is true. So right now, the people that believe the Bible is true are Christians. So the idea of this huge, this huge, potential false flag or something like that, it would just be focused on Christians, to get Christians to doubt their faith, to get Christians to somehow, get on board with the one world communistic system? I don't know. Well, I mean, I guess that could be. I'm not saying that there's nobody out there that's going to have their faith challenged or questioned if something like this happens. I do have this question. This is my main question. The idea that the government is all of a sudden going to be truthful to us about the conspiracy theory to rule them all. The one conspiracy theory of all conspiracy theories would be aliens or interdimensional.
51.
Really taking it into the, actually, no, they're not aliens. They're interdimensional beings that are proving spirituality is real, proving that, like, to me, you're telling me that we're about to do this, we're about to disclose this, and yet at the same time, the same government tells us there's no one else to arrest in related to Epstein. Now, seriously, because the whole thing is like, well, they can't release all the Epstein files. This is kind of the idea. They can't release all the Epstein files because there's too many powerful people. The entire government might collapse if we do that. So we're to believe that we're going to still continue towards this line of corruption, but we're going to be totally honest about the conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
To rule all conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't buy it. I think that's, I don't know.
The least credible people in the world.
Yes, there you go.
Expect us to believe that they are credible.
Exactly.
In this.
Exactly.
Luckily, I'm a child of the 80s and 90s and grew up with Flight of the Navigator, the movie, with Pee Wee Herman's voice as the...
okay.
And so I'll be fine with that high-tech stuff that this guy was talking about on his dry erase board, and just I'll be fine with that.
Okay, here's another clip
I don't think they came from Mars.
Here's another clip that was making the rounds. I'm going to set this up
But
here.
this is going to be a really
Bear
important
with me.
conversation.
Yes, thank you, Bishop Allen. And Tony, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. I was here till about midnight last night at the studio. My son woke me up at 3 o'clock this morning. I've been up since, so I should have just stayed here all night.
Well, there's so many things going on. We, the three of us, and a few others, just a handful of people, were pulled into a meeting, and we really got data and information that not all of it can we talk about because there's an investigation going on higher ranks of issues. And so we'll talk about the things that we can and should talk about, but we're going to give a lot today. And so what I'd like to do is Bishop Allen, if you could just start with us, my friend, and just begin to talk about what you're understanding and some of the takeaways you have. And then, Tony, I'd like you to respond to that. Let's begin.
Well, I've got to say this was one of the most unusual meetings I've ever been a part of, where the three of us, along with maybe three others, it seems like a half a dozen people were gathered in an Airbnb in the mountains of Tennessee discussing an investigation that's going on in the United States government against crimes they have committed in the process of retrieving and reverse engineering technology from non-human intelligence. The meeting also went forward to discuss the propaganda plan that was in place leading up to disclosure. And so it was interesting that as we were preparing for this meeting, I think, Tony, was it 2 weeks before we actually had the meeting, you reached out to us and said something about this.
Yes.
As we were getting ready, the urgency of the meeting was there's about to be disclosure. We need to have a conversation with key ministers who have a big reach and a big influence so that the body of Christ is not unprepared and is knocked back on their heels when this information comes out. So the interesting thing about the timing of this meeting is, as we were gathering, we saw Obama come out, we saw Trump come out, and then we saw more statements that we're going to talk about here in the future. So that's kind of the gist of the meeting.
So what they're talking about is when Barack Obama seemed to talk about aliens, and then Trump on Air Force One came out and said, he was asked, hey, what do you think about what Obama said? And Trump said, oh, well, he just divulged classified information. Maybe I'll have to pardon him for it. Seemingly confirming this. And then I mentioned earlier that you have people like Anna Paulina Luna saying this.
So the interdimensional beings is what our witnesses will call these things. I have seen evidence in a skiff that leads me to believe there are things we cannot explain, and I have observed things that are of non-human origin and creation. That's my opinion. But there has been a declassification order from the president, and you will see as soon as that stuff comes up.
Right. So do you think...
So, again, and that's not the only time she said that. Her and Tim Burchett have been saying that. This is how the liberal, or this is how the mainstream press is covering this, Eric. The Daily Mail U.S. headline, religious leaders told prepare now for UFO disclosure to unleash Bible-changing revelations. Bible-changing revelations. Obviously, the revelations, whatever they may be, or we may be here a year from now and nothing has happened, by the way, because, I mean, this could very well end up being a phenomenon like, hey, we think, I'm predicting the day and time Jesus Christ is going to return, and that day comes and goes. But religious leaders told to prepare now for UFO disclosure to unleash Bible-changing revelations. What a loaded headline that is.
Yeah. There's
nothing that is going to be disclosed that's going to change the Word of God. There's nothing that's going to be disclosed that's going to change the Bible. Now, it may send people to the Bible looking for biblically based answers as to whatever it is the government's telling you. But what you said earlier, the least credible people in the world, the United States government, when it comes to telling the people the truth, when they clearly actively lie to us most of the time, I honestly think a lot of this is a big overreaction in terms of there are so many people who are awake right now, Christians chief among them, who aren't going to believe this at all. I mean, I was talking to somebody at lunch the other day who brought it up. Like, hey, fake alien invasion is probably next. The next thing to get everybody distracted. So I think this whole exercise is, again, as I said at the opening, the strategy of the enemy is always to prove God a liar. And the enemy fails every single time. But you see it in the Garden of Eden. Did God really say, if you eat of the fruit that you will die? It's always to challenge the word of God. So it's no surprise. And everybody's going to think, okay, this is the end. This is the end. And look, everybody throughout church history has thought that this age is the end, and yet it's actually the church goes on. People go on, and things continue to grow. More babies are born. More people have a relationship with Christ. Here is now. I do believe Jesus is coming back at some point. Don't misunderstand me. He
like
is.
A thief in the night.
Yes, exactly. So here is. So here was one of these claims. Listen to this real quick, because there's been some an amendment here.
Only a handful of pastors are invited to come to a private meeting with a group of men who are connected with the intelligence world that are believers, but still have very high security clearance. These are legit, true men of God that are still connected to Washington and even this current administration and all branches of military. And they literally told us, we had a sitting congressman, a very well-known congressman from Missouri. He called into that meeting as well. That was just for pastors. And this is what he said. On speakerphone, this sitting powerful member of Congress said, "Are the pastors listening to me?" I'm getting chills right now because this happened to me. He said, "Are the pastors in the room listening to me?" And I said, "Yes, sir, we are here." And he said, "Listen to me. Go and tell the church they are not ready for what is coming. The narrative that is coming, what they are going to say is going to be like nothing you can even imagine. They are preparing to tell us that they are from another dimension, that they are our creator, and that these beings, these aliens, or whatever you want to call them, they were the ones that seeded us here. There is no such thing as God."
I get that. Like, I've seen I've seen some of these sci-fi movies that have claimed this. So just because the government says that these things are our creators, that means Christians are going to all of a sudden believe it? I don't see that happening. Now, he's actually that same guy has made an apology video to Congressman Eric Burleson. Listen.
I want to address this video that's going around of me in regards to the meeting of pastors that gathered to discuss the upcoming so-called UFO disclosure. And in this video, I stated that a congressman from Missouri had called in to speak to the pastors. And of course, it's being revealed now that that is Congressman Eric Burleson. And he did call in, but he called in to encourage us and to thank us pastors for the work that we're doing, and that we are, speaking the truth to our people and pointing them to Jesus and not get distracted of things in the world. In that moment, I began to state things that I have always said. That is my opinion, and my opinion is, and that's exactly all it is my opinion, that when this disclosure comes out, that it will be spun, that it is, that the aliens have always been here, that they seeded us, that they created the first religion, and all of that. I should have stopped and paused and said, and this part is my opinion. In the heat of that, I didn't. I led with saying that they had called the pastors, and I went straight into my opinion. So I want to make it very clear that Eric Burleson did not say those words. Those were my words. And I want to own it, and I want to apologize directly to Congressman Eric Burleson.
Okay, so anyway, these are the videos that have been going around, and this is not all of them. I don't even think I have the first one that I saw exactly. But the point being is, when I saw all of this, I get it. Like, if I had gone into one of those meetings, I mean, sure, I guess I would be, I guess I would report about it too. I'm not criticizing them for reporting about it, but I've just seen it kind of explode, and it's just kind of, everybody's talking about it, and this idea that we've got to prepare the church, and I just kind of feel like if you're already going, like if you're already at a church that believes that the Bible is the Word of God, and that the Bible is good for instruction and how to live as a Christian, I think we're going to be okay, folks. That's what I'm saying. I think we're going to be okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul. I've been sitting here the whole time just like trying not to be offended. And I think a lot of the folks in our audience would feel the same way. Like, do you not think that we can handle an announcement that sounds a little pathetic to us about from the government saying that we're not alone in this world, and something ridiculous like there is no God and that actually these little green guys made you? I like, blowing that off seems so easy to do.
Yeah, even with technology, even if with it coming, you have this technology, or you have evidence or whatever. It's
we as Christians know that there was no direct mention of extraterrestrials in the Bible. There is literally not a single direct mention of it. There are plenty of mentions of angels and spiritual beings.
Demons.
Plenty of those, and demons.
Mm-hmm.
But God has sovereignty over all. And that's the floor. That's the basic foundation. I don't have to be explained it to by someone from the government that, well, actually, we've found a few things that might have you scratching your head, Eric. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
My faith is stronger than that.
Yeah,
right?
I completely agree with you, and I think you're spot on. And I also think there's answers within Scripture, just like you mentioned. The Scripture has categories for different life forms,
yeah.
right?
It was a little weird conversation with my children when I said, yeah, Moses grabbed his brother's staff, threw it on the ground, and it turned into a serpent and ate all the other serpents that were in the room when Moses went to go see Pharaoh.
Right.
And yes, Moses lifted up his staff, and the waters parted, and they all crossed across where there was a whole bunch of water before when they probably should have drowned. And yes, I mean, all these great stories from the Old Testament, and it's like
it's supernatural.
It's supernatural.
We literally
and they're
worship.
Cool to talk about, but
yeah.
I don't have to say to them like, and just as a little buffer, we know that stuff can't happen today, but that's just how God did it back then.
You don't say that, right?
No.
Yeah. Or nor do you say, oh, and do you know what they've, by the way, I think they have. Oh, they've found Egyptian chariots in parts of the Red Sea. Like you don't have to say that, like because as believers we're like, well, the Bible says it, so we believe that it's true. We believe it's inerrant. We believe it's inspired. And to your point about supernatural, like we worship a man who was raised from the dead.
Yes.
We believe Jesus conquered death. And so so people are now afraid that if the government reveals that they have scientific evidence of interdimensional beings that are claiming that they're really God and need to be worshipped, do I think there'll be people that will worship them if it plays out like that? Yeah, there's going to be people that do. Absolutely.
Like the people on top of the big tower in Independence Day,
Yes.
right before they attack.
Yes, the stripper.
The people with the signs.
Yes.
Yeah, let's have a party. Come hang out with us.
Absolutely.
Right before they got zapped.
It's
There
so-
will be idiots.
She's like, it's so pretty. And
it's
then,
yes.
no, so to your point, like, this is, and I can also say, hypothetically, like, the Christians that reject this, the Christians that were to call it, hey, this is evil, this is bad, we disagree. Could we be marginalized? Could we be hated? Could the rise of the neo-Amish really be about rejecting alien technology? Yeah, all that could happen, but you know what? Jesus said the gates of hell will not prevail.
That's right.
Over his church.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we may have interesting times ahead, but guess what? It's going to cause people to go. It's going to cause people to run towards God and the Word of God with even more fervor.
I'm just so glad you said that a while ago about like
We're going to be okay.
We're going to be okay. We can handle this information, and we can.
Well, it just seemed to me a little bit hysterics, and I get it. But I don't understand. Like if you're going to church that preaches the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ,
yeah,
and you've got will there be members that have their faith shaken? I suppose. I mean, I suppose it can happen. But
there's been plenty
the
of
idea
movies
that
and
it's just
SNL
going to
skits
totally
that have prepared us.
uproot it. Galatians 1:6. Paul is writing to the Galatians and says, I'm astonished that you so quickly deserted him who called you in the grace of Christ and are turning to a different gospel. Not that there is another one, but there are some who trouble you and want to distort the gospel of Christ. But even if we or an angel from heaven should preach to you a gospel contrary to the one we preach to you, let him be accursed. As we have said before, so now I say again, if anyone is preaching to you a gospel contrary to the one you received, let him be accursed. So even, and I pulled that verse specifically, even if an angel from heaven, or one claiming to be, preaches to you a different gospel, let them be accursed. The Bible the Bible is an inexhaustible resource. The Word of God is inexhaustible. God Himself is inexhaustible. Yeah. And you know what? I mean, we can have a God contest. We can go old school and have. There's a book that I read to my daughter, and it's about Elijah and the God. It's called the God Contest.
Oh yeah.
And it's when Elijah, goes with the prophets of Baal and everything else, and the fire from heaven that burns the altar that's soaked in water, and then of course the Baal altar. The Baal was the Baal god was using the bathroom, according to Elijah. Maybe he's using the bathroom. Maybe that's why he's not answering you. I say all that to say, folks, we're going to be just fine. So I posted this. Some guy named Mike Signorelli says, the rumors are real. I was brought into a private meeting with other pastors, no phones, no cameras, no recordings. We were told plainly disclosure is coming, and what follows will shake the faith of many. And I just wrote, God is in complete control. There is nothing new under the sun. Pastors who teach their flock that Scripture is foundational to the Christian life have nothing to worry about. If anything, this will cause us to cling to the Word of God with more fervor, with more zeal. So do not be afraid. Do not let your heart be troubled if that is you. And maybe, maybe my cynicism here is misplaced. If I'm wrong about this, that's fine. I've been wrong about a lot of things. But fear is not, we are not called to be afraid. We were
Amen.
not given a spirit of fear. We're given a spirit of love, power, sound mind, or discipline and a sound mind. And that's how we should interpret all of these events, and know that if God is for us, who can be against us? We're on God's side. There's no mountain we can't take. There's no hill we can't try to take, because if the worst case scenario happens and we die, well, now to die is to gain. So anyway, that's my take on that. So, but there is some funny memes on this. Look at this. So remember the Epstein binder gate? So now people are like, it's time. And they've got the grays, which, by the way, so L.A. Marzulli, who I had the privilege of interviewing, L.A. Marzulli, he has written books like On the Hunt, On the Trail of the Nephilim, and he actually thinks, I'm just letting you know, he actually thinks that the grays are basically like automaton flesh suits that are created technology that are that enable demons to possess right? So basically creating for themselves skin suits. Well, somebody's got to build those things. I know it raises a lot more questions. I'm just telling you, I'm pretty well versed in a lot of the different theories, and I'm comfortable with pretty much all of them. I mean, I can see how somebody can take what's in the Bible to kind of try to categorize what we may be experiencing, what we may be about to disclose. But yeah, I thought that was funny. And actually, D.C. Drano, who was one of the ones that was at this meeting, the Epstein meeting. Look at the folder, say UFO Files Phase 1. This is great. DC Drano says, happy to report that I will not be helping release the UFO files. If someone tries to hand me a binder, I will let it fall to the ground. Thank you for your attention in this matter. So I think it's funny that he could make light of that. So what do you guys think in the comments? Do we have any interesting comments? We'll look at them during the break because we are now half past the hour, so we're going to reset here. We're going to take a quick break. Before we do, though, I do want to tell you about red light therapy from Redvive and the great folks at redvivehealth.org/Paul. That's redvivehealth.org/Paul. Why should you use red light therapy? Well, because we are surrounded with toxins all the time, whether it's our food supply, whether it's the air we breathe. And we also are being encouraged with Big Pharma to take their drugs to alleviate the symptoms. But have you ever thought that you're not getting what nature already has for you? When the sun rises and the sun sets, it emits red light. But then these red light panels, you get it in targeted doses. Red light and near-infrared light, 2 different wavelengths in the same panel. The red light is great for your skin, your collagen, your anti-aging, and then the near-infrared light penetrates deep into your cells, your tissues, your organs, stimulates your mitochondria, and triggers biophotomodulation. It's a real science. Look it up. Go to redvivehealth.org/Paul. That's redvivehealth.org/Paul. Save 35% off of these red light panels. When you mention my name, you can also call 844-RED-VIVE. That's 844-RED-VIVE. If you mention my name, Paul, you get 35% off. If you can prove that you're a veteran, you'll get an even bigger discount. redvivehealth.org/Paul. 35% off. Back here in just a moment.
For centuries, light has been used to heal. Awaken the body with Redvive.
Why is Redvive different? What sets it apart? What sets us apart from the standard red light panels? This is a medical grade device, and what that means is the red light bulbs and the near-infrared bulbs have very specific wavelengths. If you think about the wavelength as the medicine, the 635, the 670, the 810, the 850, those were specifically chosen because those are the most powerful effectors of the cells. So those specific wavelengths, when they get into our body, when they affect our tissue, they spike energy production, they help with nerve pain control, they increase stem cell counts. There's very specific mechanisms that those specific wavelengths work at, and that's the medicine. So if you think of, say, medicine as an Advil or a specific steroid or a blood pressure medication, the wavelength is the medication. The other part of that, whenever you take a medication, is dose. Right? So you have the medication. So if you take 1 milligram of Advil, and the average dose of an Advil is 200 milligrams to 800 milligrams, it's not going to work. That doesn't mean the medicine's bad. It just means you didn't take enough. Right? And so even if you have the right wavelengths, first you have to have the right medicine, and then you have to have the right dose. And to have the right dose, you have, in light therapy, you have to have enough energy. So you have to have a powerful bulb. The LED bulbs, or light-emitting diodes, have a specific wavelength, and that wavelength is the medicine. And the wavelengths that have been studied and published on that are the most powerful in affecting healing and the changes that we want to see with our bodies and our health are the 635 wavelength, the 670, 810 nanometer wavelength, and 850 nanometer wavelength. Those are all going to affect the mitochondria, the cytochrome C oxidase, and affect those powerful long-term changes and affect that downstream pathways. And that's what you get with Redvive devices. The highest efficacy, the best wavelengths, concentrated to help your health.
Behind every precious life, there was a choice. Behind every family moment, behind every special memory, there was a choice. A life of joy, a life that is beautifully and wonderfully made. At 7 Weeks Coffee, we are funding the pro-life movement, one cup at a time. Will you let your coffee serve a greater purpose?
All right, welcome back.
The
Welcome
Paul
back.
Harrell Program.
Thanks so much for being with us. Having too much fun today on the show.
As always.
Let me pull this volume down here. All right, so
so much alien talk.
yeah, a lot of alien talk. We do have one. I did see one comment. Hang on, one comment that I thought. Let's see, where did it go? Kimberly.
Yeah, a lot of good conversation.
Kimberly 0464 says we must stay close to the Holy Spirit to have discernment during these times. I agree, all the time. We should always do that. So we've long reported on this show that Abigail Spanberger and her takeover of Virginia is a intel oligarchy-backed plot to allow the deep state to have a beachhead right there in Virginia. They don't have to go very far from D.C. to kind of have a place for people to run to. And so we know that. We know that redistricting thing was all part of that as well. I think it was also part of the Supreme Court decision leaking to them. I made that claim the other day. Well, we have news. It looks like the DOJ is looking into local officials there in Virginia to try to ferret out corruption, and it looks like they may have found some. There was raids at least 10 places across the state of Virginia today, implicating the president pro temp of the Virginia State Senate, Louise Lucas is her name. Matter of fact, let's throw this up on the screen here. Did you hear about this one, Eric?
Absolutely. They caught her, or they put a camera and microphone in front of her face when she showed up for work today. It was super awkward. Did you see that?
I think I've got that.
It's like, I don't know what's going on.
I think it has to do with. I think this has to do with drugs, or actually, it's like marijuana dispensary. But Port Smith, Virginia, the FBI is raiding the office of Virginia Senate Pro Temp Louise Lucas, a Democrat and close ally of Virginia Governor Spanberger. Federal law enforcement sources tell Fox this is in connection to a major corruption probe, and the FBI is serving multiple search warrants approved by a federal judge at her office and a next-door cannabis dispensary. So,
she doesn't look 63 in that picture right there, obviously, but she's like 63 years old. Wow. And when she showed up to work today, bless her heart, she was just like, you could tell, it was definitely caught off guard, but the cluelessness of the look on her face, because all of her employees were outside. They'd all been told to go outside. You cannot come back in. And meanwhile, the FBI is just like loading up a Brinks truck full of boxes coming out of her office. And I mean, what a moment to then have a camera put in your face and be like, what do you think about what's going on in your office today? Like, oh, shoot.
Yeah, she actually said something like, I don't know what's going on.
Really? Do you not?
I don't really. Let's see here. No, I don't. I thought I had it pulled, the clip of her responding. Maybe I can find it here in a minute. But Nick Sorter is saying that according to the New York Times, this has to do with bribery.
Yeah.
And so it's the marijuana dispensary is right there by her office, or at least one of the places that was raided in her office, and then the marijuana dispensary.
It's next door.
Right, right next door.
Isn't that funny?
So, yeah. You got to wonder, like,
get some kush and go to work.
What's the snack closet like in this in her office? Like, what kind of munchies does this lady have?
There is so many munchies in that office.
It's like the happiest place to work in all of Virginia. You covet that job. It's like, it's like becoming, I don't know. It's like becoming
come get all the cheese puffs you want over here.
Yeah, it's like becoming a successful J.P. Morgan banker, I guess. It's like the pinnacle of what you want. So, Is this her reaction? The reaction of Democratic President Pro Tem of Virginia. Yeah, I think I do have it. I think it's right here. Hang on, let me see here. Take a look.
She arrived here. I asked her about being here as the FBI raided these locations. Take a listen.
Is there anything that we can say about what they're doing?
I don't know what's going on. I just came from a medical appointment, so I'm just gonna wait until they tell me.
All right, so she doesn't know what's going on.
She arrived here.
Maybe she.
What's that old meme of?
Maybe she doesn't. Okay.
She may not.
Maybe she doesn't. I'm not jumping to conclusions here, but if she does, it's going to be pretty funny. Because by the way, this lady's way high up in the Virginia government.
Right.
I mean, way high up.
Right. What is that? Man, what is that? Who meme? Just hanging around. What is that? Just hanging around.
What is this?
Oh man, I can't find it. It's this. Oh, it's a great meme of this black guy. It's. I don't know. You guys will probably know it, but it's just like, what are you doing? And he's like, who me? Oh, nothing. Just hanging around. And it's clearly.
Okay.
He's clearly up to something. But anyway, I can't find it. But all right. So bless her heart. Bless Senate Pro Tem Lucas's heart.
Senate Pro Tem. That was what I was looking for.
As we,
Which means what?
She's
one step away from.
I don't know what the hierarchy is, or like the rules of secession.
Okay.
Or not succession. I'm not really sure exactly, but normally the president of the Senate is the guy who's going to control legislation. He's going to control, committee assignments. In this case, I think she's a she. It's a powerful position. Somebody's, it's basically the same thing as the majority leader.
Okay.
Or the Speaker of the House.
That's what I was looking for.
Most of the time, in most legislatures, that's that position. So it is a powerful position, and most of the time, the governor's going to handpick or have some kind of say of who they want in that position. So it very much is a blow to CIA-backed spam burger. And then we also have this, just a follow-up. The city of Memphis is going to lose their Democrat racially based district. It was interesting to hear on Timcast last night, our good friend Noel Fritsch. It was interesting to hear him talk about how basically the liberal justices, in their dissenting opinion on this, are arguing for Jim Crow based districts. Like they are actually arguing for Jim Crow laws to remain in place.
Yeah.
Like that's what they want to happen. They want race-based districts. And, to kind of hear it put that way, you're like, wow, how did we get here? But it was a fascinating discussion about how things are changing. This is the new map. As you see there, Memphis is now going to be, if you compare the two here, right now Memphis is just this little district. And then you've got this big one to the east.
Imagine it. They are now for segregation.
Yes. Yes, they are. Well, and compare it to the South being against segregation. Or, I'm sorry, compare it to the South being for segregation. Civil Rights Act, the Little Rock Nine right here in our own state,
right,
which gave Arkansas very much of a, I believe that whole thing gave Arkansas very much of a Stockholm Syndrome when it comes to trying to defy the federal government, especially it really kept us in line, let me tell you. I think we're kind of breaking out of that, but you see the difference here. What they're doing is they're taking this big swath of land here, and they're dividing it up, basically parallel with the state borders, for the most part, into three districts.
Yeah. So it'll go from 2 to 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Memphis, they're basically splitting Memphis. If you look at it, they're splitting that Memphis district in half, and they're giving it to the northern district, and then giving it to the one in the middle there. If you can see that, it's pretty fascinating what they're going to do. And, of course, they're freaking out about it. They were also doing this in South Carolina. South Carolina House Rules Committee has voted to amend the sine die. Sine die is what you do when you're about to leave session. You're about to end the session. South Carolina is now saying we're going to amend the sine die, and we're going to allow redistricting next week. So it looks like South Carolina is at least going to have a shot at it. Then we go over here back to Tennessee, back to Memphis. Here is the congressman famous for his fried chicken stunt.
Mr. KFC.
Steve Cohen, he is not happy about this because he's going to lose power. He's losing political power. By the way, it has nothing to do with the people of Memphis as far as he's concerned. And I would have got. There's got to be people in Memphis that would at least be like, yeah, this guy really doesn't care about us. He just wants his salary and his. I'm assuming this guy's made a lot of money on the stock market since he's been in power. Listen to this.
The state, you're changing the House of Representatives from the People's House to the Republican Party MAGA's house to the governor's house. And that's not the way government's supposed to be. I'll tell you some stories. When I was a senator, it was from 1982 to 2006, there were more people up here in the Senate and the House that said Memphis should be part of Mississippi. They constantly said it. If it weren't for John Wilder and Jimmy Navy and Ed McWhirter, who had power then, Memphis would have suffered more. Right now, Memphis does not have a friend in the higher spaces of government. We've got two great state senators, and Justin Jones, who's a great state representative. He's the real deal.
Justin Pearson.
Cool.
Justin Pearson.
And Justin does a great job. The fact is, Memphis has been eliminated by this Jim Crow bill.
But so it's the opposite, though. Yeah. This is actually trying to keep Jim Crow. It's trying to keep segregation. Right now, these are segregated court-enforced districts.
By the way, this guy's net worth is $8.8 million as of last year. He has $3.4 million in stocks across 47 holdings. So look, him going down there on the steps in Memphis and telling these people that Jim Crow is the problem for them and that this is Jim Crow, what an absolute idiot.
I'm going to go back to my phrase from last week. I lied earlier when I said I was like you. I took a helicopter here.
What? Such a joke, man.
I lied earlier when I said I was like you.
And there's the dork to the left of him right there. The guy from yesterday. There he is again.
I got $4 million worth of stocks.
Mr. Trump's white supremacist Nazi or whatever he said.
Yeah, how much did you say he's worth though? $8 million?
$8.8 million.
I lied earlier when I said I was like you.
It's a Jim Crow Supreme Court opinion.
That's actually as of 2024. It's actually grown to $10.3 million.
Okay.
In 2025. So somehow he made an additional over $1.5 million in a year.
Yeah, and Memphis has just gotten worse and worse and worse and worse.
Governor Lee jumped on it to effectuate their promises, to make this all Donald Trump country. It's about Donald Trump and his agenda. And it's about saving him from oversight in the Congress as Democrat. But as the lady who let us off here said, and she's right, it's about an agenda that's about the wealthy. It's about the wealthiest of all, and it's about corruption at the highest level. And that's what they want to do. That's what they want to do, and it's a shame. But I'm happy to see all of you out here. Maintain the faith. We're going to fight to keep this district for at least 2 more years, if not longer. We're going to use the courts, and we're going to fight Donald Trump.
It's literally. I'm sorry,
old man.
Yeah, with the columns in the background, it's like it's not unlike a plantation owner giving his speech in front of his house. Like, we got to stop them from taking away our slave. I mean, representation.
He's just an obnoxious, demented old man. It's sad. These people should be ashamed, and somebody should go take the microphone away from him. It's hilarious.
They think that he represents them. The problem is,
how is that though?
Yeah, you kind of wonder, right?
Like, really?
Yeah.
How is that?
He's really done a good job. What a good politician. Because I mean, why is Steve Cohen not like? Why is the representative for Memphis not black? Can we ask that question?
I guess, yeah.
I mean, you would think that would be the case. But it's not, anyway, it's not just Steve Cohen who's upset. It's also, we got this Congressman, Benny Thompson. He's a Democrat from Mississippi. He is the chairman, is that right? Chairman of the J6 committee, is that right? Here's this clip. Take a listen to this, because Mississippi is gonna redraw eventually. We'll see if they do.
Are you talking about the committee that?
Yeah, I didn't think he was the chairman of that. But anyway, listen to this.
This is equivalent to a second civil war. We're going to have to get our act together. As everybody's saying, we're going to have to resist with every fiber in our body. We're going to have to take this system on at every election. because it's not just members of Congress. We're talking about state legislatures. We're talking about unit commissioners. We're talking about
that's the guy.
city council.
Down to city councils.
Board. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Second Civil War, he says. Second Civil War. Benny Thompson. So I mean, it's
what a disgusting comment.
Yeah, it's no surprise. The second congressional district. Let's see. Let's go to his website here. No, I don't want to sign up.
I think
yeah, he's from Mississippi.
Oh yeah, I remember him now. Yeah,
super serious. He gets down to business. So yeah. Anyway, they're going to continue to claim that this is Jim Crow or this is racism, but I mean, this is just the South finally being able to fight without having a governor on our golf cart. This is the South finally being able to have the representation. It's just incredible to me as somebody, it's never really dawned on me that politically speaking, we've had to do this with one hand tied behind our back while New England just gets to run roughshod. And essentially, the apportionment scheme has just been designed to punish the South for the Civil War. The Civil War happened a long time ago, and we're still paying for it because of these court-enforced Jim Crow racial districts.
Yeah, this was Lynn Cheney's buddy right there.
That's right. Yeah, so he was the chairman. I forgot because when you think of the J6 committee, you just think of Liz Cheney. Right. That's what I think of. But
Me too.
The Democrats did control the Congress at that time, so
right.
That's why it happened like that. We're going to check in real quick on liberal white women. So this is an update on liberal white women. What are they up to? Well, they're protesting on climate change. I think this lady's actually from Australia. So for those of you who don't know, a topless white liberal woman decided to hang herself from the feet down, hang herself from a bell to protest climate change. The image is successfully blurred, but the bell actually worked. So, a lot of people don't know this, but after that happened, climate change was ended.
Oh, good.
It actually worked.
Good.
A lot of people didn't think that, but the bell was magic. It just needed the right dose of estrogen.
She cooled it down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So she cooled the planet down. Everything's fine now. She did it. She absolutely did it all.
Bless her heart. Thank you, ma'am, for your bravery.
Yeah. Yeah, this is from Not the Bee. Nice to see liberal white women are still taking their SSRIs. This is actually this took place last week, so it just made the news cycle this week. It took place last week in Venice at the city's 61st Art Biennale. One of the world's most prestigious modern art events. Australian artist Florentina Halsinger created an exhibit at the Australian Pavilion called SeaWorld Venice to warn humanity that climate change is going to destroy us all.
She's so brave.
She's not worried about a fake alien invasion. She's worried about climate change.
That's right.
By the way, the solution to climate change is communism. A lot of people don't know that either. All of our problems will be solved by communism, folks. That's what they say. That's their solution to everything.
That's right. It's Mother Russia. It's
insane, dude. It's absolutely insane.
That's funny.
In other news, this was an interesting article that came across my desk. ICE immigration enforcement has harmed U.S. workers, according to research. Now,
it's in Forbes?
This is in Forbes. ICE immigration enforcement has harmed U.S. Now, operative word there, U.S. workers. How do you think they define U.S. workers? Does that U.S. workers here doesn't necessarily mean American citizens?
Oh.
It could mean American citizens or just workers who are in the U.S. who are not citizens. Listen to this. New research finds that immigration and customs enforcement activity has harmed U.S.-born workers. Now, as I say, U.S.-born workers.
Oh.
The findings contradict a central policy justification for ICE raids and the arrest quotas in U.S. cities. Earlier this year, ICE and Border Patrol agents killed 2 Americans in Minneapolis and generated widespread protests. The new research shows ICE activity also caused economic disruption and failed to deliver on the administration's promise to improve the economic situation of workers. Under the Trump administration, ICE and Border Patrol agents surged into Minneapolis, Los Angeles, other major cities. Economists Chloe and Elizabeth, I'm just saying their names are Chloe and Elizabeth, examined the impact of immigration enforcement actions in a new paper published by the National Bureau of Economic Research. While immigration enforcement has increased nationwide during the Trump administration, the researchers compared areas that experienced a sudden large increase in ICE arrests to places that did not. One research finding is unsurprising. Among individuals identified as likely undocumented immigrants not physically removed from the labor market, ICE activity produced a chilling effect of interacting with ICE, leading to a 4% reduction in employment. According to the research, in an average area, approximately 6 undocumented immigrants dropped out of the labor force for every 1 ICE arrest.
Oh, gosh.
This is a good thing. Like, this is what we voted for.
That's what I thought figured they were going with this.
Yes, a chilling effect, meaning when you arrest illegals,
right,
you have less illegals are more afraid to go and get American jobs.
Americans have to work harder. I
mean, yeah, I guess. Is that why they're upset?
Americans have to pick up the slack?
Yeah.
Lazy.
That may
that's where I thought they were going to go with
Well,
it.
yeah, they say that may help explain why employers often express difficulties in finding workers well beyond the number of people arrested or deported. The research finds ICE arrests have not helped and indeed likely harmed U.S.-born workers, including those with a high school education or less. There's a negative impact on employment of the U.S.-born male workers. I don't believe that. This is consistent with the model. I mean, how is it a negative when they literally just said that there's a chilling effect from illegals working?
You came into our office and yanked Benito and Consuela, and now I have to work harder.
That's got to be what it is. That's got to be what it is. Anyway,
I'm having to do the job of 3.
It's just hilarious. It's hilarious. And
Good
the Jessica Vaughn wrote about this on X. She says the new study validates attrition through enforcement strategy. And she highlights what we just pointed out. According to the research, in an average area, approximately 6 undocumented immigrants dropped out of the labor force for every 1 ICE arrest.
And this is what one of the disgusting things about what like the libtards on The View and Kelly Osbourne and others would talk about illegal immigrants and why we need them so bad was because they only do the jobs that Americans are too lazy to do
Picking
or that are beneath them.
Mm-hmm.
No, like cleaning toilets and stuff like that. Remember, liberals say this, have been caught on camera saying this regularly,
right,
many times. And so I thought that's where they were going with this. Like now we have to get all these lazy Americans off the streets and get the needles out of their arms and all this stuff and put them to work. Golly, what a dumb article.
Well, here's another one. ABC, this is another one here. ABC News, they're reporting they have found cases of sophisticated. Now, this is crazy. This is so funny. Like anything to try to make the plight of illegals here sympathetic.
Oh, yeah.
ABC News is now reporting that they have found cases of sophisticated immigration scams across the country as bad actors seize on the Trump administration's mass deportation agenda. So if you get arrested and you're going to be deported, there's going to be some process, and so you need attorneys. So ABC News is now discovering that there's a lot of attorneys that are not real attorneys, and they're scamming people out of money and not actually representing them, and we're supposed to feel bad about this.
This is how deep the fraud goes in America. Lawyers will literally defraud the illegals and not represent them.
They report fake courtrooms, sham hearings, immigrants targeted by scams amid Trump administration's deportation push. Now, I wonder who the scammers are.
Yeah, right.
In this situation, could they be H-1B visa holders?
Oh my god!
Which, if that's the case, this is like an example of somehow turning our enemies against our other enemies.
Yeah,
you know what I
right?
mean? If it is Indians that are scamming out illegals,
oh gosh,
claiming to be attorneys, this would be.
No, I would really represent you.
Yes,
I'm really here to represent. I just need $500 and we'll get started.
Yes, let me install this. Let me install.
Terrible.
Go to my PC. And then you see your computer for a second. Give us your bank account information, and then we will have an attorney at your doorstep momentarily. 20-year-old Edith from Guatemala has remained in her home with her 1-year-old baby Justin for weeks after selling her only means of transportation. Being stuck at home, locked up inside, is very, very difficult for us. Edith, a U.S. citizen who was raised in Guatemala and requested she only be referred to by her first name out of concern for her privacy, sold her car, spent her life savings to pay someone who she thought was an attorney to help her husband, Demas, who was arrested and placed in immigration custody in March. After Demas, the undocumented breadwinner of the family, was quickly sent to detention center in Georgia, Edith sought an immigration lawyer on social media. Probably not the best place to look for lawyers, but when a stranger recommended a supposed Florida-based attorney. Edith retained the woman, so I was scheduled for a video call. The woman who said she was a lawyer said that to get someone out of immigration detention, a habeas corpus needed to be filed. Edith retained the woman and began communicating with her frequently. She completed documents the woman sent her and began sending the woman payments. She even received documents that appeared to be from U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, the federal agency that oversees immigration services. She began asking for money, $500, $600, $1,700, $4,000 for bond petition copies of forms. But last month, when the woman was scheduled to participate in a video call for Demas' initial hearing before the immigration judge, she never appeared on the call. Edith's husband later told her that the judge said that the attorney wasn't registered in the court system. He said, "They're scamming you." I said, "By why me?" I started to feel really bad, and I didn't know what to do. After confronting the woman she had hired, Edith realized that she had been scammed out of more than $10,000, her life savings, and with all her money gone, she was unable to pay for a legitimate lawyer to represent her husband, who last month was ordered deported by an immigration judge. God. Edith is one of many victims across the country that law enforcement and immigration lawyers say are being targeted by bad actors seizing on the Trump administration's mass deportation agenda. So, yeah, this is Trump's fault that this is happening, is what they're telling you. Some scammers, according to officials, are using artificial intelligence to hold fake immigration court proceedings, with scammers wearing judicial robes and law enforcement uniforms using fake documents that appear to be from federal agencies. Wow. I've just got to know, are they Indian? Do we have a picture of this? No, let's see this husband.
You'll never know because it's all AI. A lot of that stuff is AI generated. I've seen 2 or 3 different mentions about artificial intelligence. So
I'm just trying to say, it doesn't say who the scammers are, but folks, come on.
TikTok lawyers, baby.
Come on, you got it.
TikTok lawyers are us.
You got to know, and you feel bad for the U.S. citizen. You do, that this happened to her. You feel bad for her.
Same way I felt bad for my 88-year-old grandmother that was scammed by one of these guys, out of a lot of money. But this doesn't mean that you slow down or stop deportations.
Exactly right. And that's what the stories are designed to do.
That's what the stories are designed to plant seeds of,
because,
are we really doing the right thing here?
So this woman was scammed out of $10,000 by a fake attorney, so we should open up our borders and let everybody come here. Like that, that's ridiculous.
That square doesn't circle.
But that's what they want us to believe. No. So, hey, it is time for Graham Watch. I think it's the perfect time for Graham Watch, and Graham Watch starts right now.
Senator Lindsey Graham loves New Wars.
Loves New Wars.
This segment is called Graham Watch, and it's dedicated to him. We see you, Lady G.
So for this edition of Graham Watch, we're going to highlight the broadcast last night of Timcast in real life, where a friend of the program, my friend Noel Fritsch, who is working as a consultant for the Mark Lynch for Senate campaign, was a guest on Timcast, where they proceeded to, rip Lindsey Graham several times throughout the program. And I thought it was really good. And so Lindsey Graham didn't have a very good night last night, especially for people who are watching Timcast. So I'm going to pull this up here. Here it is. Here is friend of the show Noel Fritsch, where Tim Pool and Noel Fritsch and the usual cast of characters are talking about Lindsey Graham and his alleged sexual proclivities come up, and this is what it sounded like.
Princey, the GOP, NRSC, NRCC exists solely to protect their leadership shills inside of their key committees, the Appropriations Committee, the Budget Committee. Lindsey Graham, chairman of the Budget Committee. We don't have a budget like Finance Committee. Those are those A committees. They literally tier the committees, right? And so that's what they exist to do.
I mean, the one thing I can say for South Carolina is, it's very progressive to elect a homosexual man as oftentimes as they did.
Jeez.
That was my favorite part. It's very Tim Pool just comes in from the ropes.
I was gonna say
it's very progressive of South Carolina to elect a homosexual man as often as they did. It's like, whoa, what?
Whoa, man! Shots fired.
Now he goes on to clarify that we don't know that he's gay, but if you ask anyone in politics. Like anybody in politics assumes that Lindsey Graham is a homosexual.
I know that's kind of a joke, but most people think he's a gay man. I'm surprised South Carolina would be willing to vote for him.
Can I tell you what?
To be honest,
can I tell you what he does? So there are.
It's so funny. I just think it's hilarious because it is true. It's like the worst kept secret. And everybody assumes it, and then you look at a state like South Carolina,
the top ropes, like Macho Man Randy Savage,
and I'm gonna get you. Boom, step into a slip. And so it's just funny to me because you got South Carolina. It is a Bible Belt state, and it's a conservative state. It's full of Christians, and I think a lot of them, everybody knows. But do the people back home know? Does your average I love South Carolina, beautiful state, so I'm not trying to disparage you, but does your average, South Carolinian really know, the guy that's, somewhere in a rural area, which most South Carolina, with the what is the moss? What's that moss that hangs down from the trees there? It's beautiful. Anyway, does your average South Carolinian really know, hey, this guy's got to go because I don't want a homosexual representing me. That's the question. Noel Fritsch goes on here. Listen.
Rising number of South Carolinians who are not aware of the widely known proclivities of Mr. Lindsey Graham, in his private life. And the reason is because he actually spends a lot of money essentially propagandizing them with pictures of his nieces and nephews as if he has a family. He literally lies and kind of pretends to have a family.
I want to clarify. I'm not saying he's gay. I'm saying most people in politics believe that he is.
That's right.
So when you see he's 70, right?
66, I believe.
66-year-old bachelor, and you go to the belt when everyone's like, you go to D.C. and you go to anybody who works in politics, they're going to tell you he's gay. I'm just saying that's surprising that South Carolina would have elected him so many times.
Yeah, that's right. And it's a Bible Belt state.
Yeah,
it's very heavily Baptist and dispensational and Protestant, right? And that's not the kind of vibe that they tend to go along with. And I think that it's becoming more and more widely known now that there is this challenge. And Lindsey's desperate. Lindsey's buying Mark Lynch all kinds of name ID in the state that Mark's got $5 million and he's spending it. It's a real deal campaign. And we need all the help we can get, by the way.
That's just the primary.
Just the primary. And what a patriot.
This is his own money?
All of his own money. What a patriot. Mark Lynch is a true patriot. And a true Mr. Smith goes to Washington kind of a guy. Says, I just want a better life for my kids and my grandkids. And he says, I'm taking $5 million out of my retirement account, and it's going to help the Republic.
Why does Lindsey Graham want to go to war all the time?
I don't know. Lindsey, I don't know him. I haven't talked to him yet, but he seems like he's...
This was fantastic. We're going to keep listening here.
Detached when he talks. I don't know if you guys listen to him do interviews and talk. He seems like he's kind of not really with it.
He's the kind of guy where it's like you and your friends are going to hang out. It's like a Saturday night, and you're like, "Hey, yo, Tate, like, what do you want to do tonight?" And Tate's like, "I don't know, there's like a new cosmic bowling alley they just opened up." And you're like, "Ian, what do you think?" And you're like, "We can go. There's an open mic." And then Lynn's like, "We can go to war with Iran." And we're like, "Anyway, so there's a bar, there's bench warmers and rants." And he goes, "War with Iran, anybody?" And we're like, "What are you talking about? Nobody wants to go to war with Iran, dude. Why do you keep bringing it up?"
Well, he's been drunk on air. I don't know if you guys have seen a couple of times in the last month or so.
I think that's also a rumor.
He's literally been drunk on air, and he was drunk. He was getting in his car, and
He was drunk on air. Let me see if we can't
played that.
Let me see if we can't find that, because I would actually like to rehash that to see. There was one where he was getting in the car and he looked kind of sloshed, but there was one when he was like, I think it was on Sean Hannity's show, and
yeah, he was just
slurring his words.
We commented about that. We're like, he sounds like he's had a couple of V&Ts.
Is this it right here? Let's see. When was this? March the 10th. Oh, Mark Lynch is like the first hit on this. It's only 5 seconds long, though. It may not be the full one. Let's listen.
I want sanctuary city policy to end.
Hang on. It's like literally. It's like it sounds like it's been altered.
Holy cow!
Like all of a sudden you're listening at like minus 1.5 speed or something.
I want sanctuary city policy to end.
The hiccup. The drunken hiccup.
then there was this one. This is another one that
Calm
comes
down,
up.
Aunt Edna. Get back in the living room. Here, come sit down. Let's get you a gin and tonic.
How you doing? Is there a foreign war you don't support?
I support wars that make America safer.
I support
wars that make America safer.
Support wars that make America safer. Let's see. Is this another angle?
I support wars that make America safer.
Literally, he has a little gin and tonic there for that one. I was wondering if we could find the fuller, more the. Is Lindsey Graham drunk? Yeah, here's another one. I think it's happened multiple times.
So
I
think President
man,
Trump
he's
is in a good
schmallered
spot.
right there.
My advice to him would be continue the blockade, but blockade plus, which means try to open up a lane in the Strait of Hormuz to take Iran's leverage away. If they continue to be provocative to the region, then let Admiral Cooper finish his target list, and we have Cargill and sort of an insurance policy, and try to pivot to peace where Saudi Arabia and Israel can go back to the peace table. But to those people throughout the world who believes that this operation against Iran wasn't necessary, you have to buy into the idea that weren't close to having a nuclear weapon, and they don't desire to have a nuclear weapon. I don't buy into either one of those concepts.
All right, so
yeah, I'm with Darlene. Like, if I were Hannity in that one segment, I would have had to have said something like, "Hey, are you okay?
Yeah, dude, are you okay?" Or like, Lindsey Graham was too drunk.
They're friends,
to
so
drive.
I'm sure he didn't want to call him out on air or whatever. But man.
So here's another one. Let me see. That last one, he didn't seem that intoxicated. I mean, his eyes looked kind of weird. But this is another. Is this another one? Let's listen.
This thing is over. To the American people, I know gas prices are high, and I know we're suffering right now. But you pay now, you pay later against thugs like Iran. They tried to get a nuclear weapon, and if you don't believe that, you shouldn't be allowed to drive.
I think maybe it was just that one. You had that one instance, but I mean, he was sloshed. Here's another one. Let's listen to this.
Could have done it. And as to this commander-in-chief, he did something people talked about doing. You just wait for Cuba. Cuba is a communist dictatorship that's killed priests and nuns. They've preyed on their own people.
Doesn't seem drunk in that one. I think what's happened is
I don't think Trump has a lot of respect for him, by the way. I'm just going to go ahead and say that.
But he endorsed him.
I know the endorsement's there, but
Yeah.
I really, because Trump does not forget. Trump never forgets. And Lindsey Graham has said some things about President Trump before that are inexcusable. And so I don't get the endorsement, but I really don't think
he turned on him with J6. You know, he turned on. Obviously, he wasn't a fan of him during the 2016 primary. But I mean, you know what he did with him on J6. I'm done. I'm done with you. You know, this enough's enough. I mean, Lindsey Graham, if he survives this, I think he will happily, happily stand by and let Donald Trump get impeached in the House, and then who knows what happens in the Senate. I'm just telling you, this is, you're playing with fire here to trust this guy.
I want sanctuary city policy to end.
So it really upset. Now, when that happened, I remember it because it really upset the donors, like his donors. They were mad at him being sloshed going on Fox News. It's hard enough to support this guy as it is. Yeah. He's not a very likable guy.
No.
And so you're just compounding your issues when this happens. All right.
He's a suck up when they're up and a kick 'em when they're down type guy.
He is.
And I'm not saying that doesn't follow along the lanes of a lot of politicians in our government, but he's just kind of a joke now at this point.
Real quick, just a little bit more from Timcast. Noel Fritsch last night. Congratulations to Noel Fritsch for going on Timcast to rip on Lindsey Graham.
He was drunk, and he was actually literally carrying the drink.
Oh wow! Wait, he was driving?
No, well, say he has drivers, right? He was.
Okay, I mean, I'm not gonna.
He's got drivers. I lied earlier when I said I was like you.
Complain about a guy having a beer.
Yeah, of course,
but I'm gonna complain about him wanting to go to war with Iran.
And also with Lindsey Graham, and with Lindsey Graham, you got to look at this guy as just a pure ladder climber. And if you are in and around DC. Consistently, the worst people you'll ever met are these ladder climbing types, and he's the the epitome of that. Where if you go back to 2016, where he ran for president, by the way, I don't think people would even remember that. He tried to run for president. He called Trump a xenophobe, a racist. He called him a jackass. He was cruel to President Trump, and then. He said he voted for Evan McMullen.
He did.
And it's okay, it's one thing if you're one of these neocons that just said, I didn't vote or whatever. But it's to actively try and undermine the Republican is crazy. And that's kind of unforgivable in a lot of ways. If you haven't directly come out and made amends for it by supporting Trump's policy in any meaningful ways, just coming back out and being an establishment shill is far different than guys that have sort of rehabilitated. J.D. Vance is a good example of a guy that was opposed to Trump, far less consequential because he wasn't in elected office at the time. But then he's reoriented his policy to actually reflect what the sort of Trump base supports. Lindsey Graham has not done it at one instance. It's just no humility. He's just a loser, quite frankly.
Let's jump to this story from the New York Times, published today.
Good segment last night on Timcast. That concludes our Graham Watch for today, ladies and gentlemen. But we're going to listen to it one more time.
Loves New Watch
today, buddy. Thank you. It was a good Graham Watch. It was good.
This segment is called Graham Watch, and it's dedicated to him. We see you, Lady G.
You Lady G. Yeah, Lady G.
Every time it gets me, every single time. It really does. We're going to take a quick break. Before we do, though, I want to tell you about Pet Club 247. That's Pet Club 24/7. So if you go to paulharrell.petclub247, you're going to see a screen that looks like. Let me see if I can't find it. It's going to be this. So I just got some of their great products in the other day. And it was pretty cool because they sent me the mushroom the mush puppies. Actually, it was like a dog treat, type of mushroom dog treat, kind of like a beef jerky type thing for my dog. Also gave me some really cool stuff to sprinkle on the food, some.
For good breath?
I don't know. I just think it's for general, this. It's an immune system support.
I need to get some of that for my black lab.
Yeah, the stuff that they have here is pretty consequential. And I mean, I just got the product. I also got some coffee for actual coffee for humans to consume. And the way it works is it also has some of this immune system boosting mushroom in the coffee. I had some this morning. You can't taste the mushroom at all, but apparently it's incredible for you. But you got to go listen to the testimonials, which we'll show you here in a minute. But I just want you guys to know this is a way, especially if you have an aging pet, they're not getting around, and you want to try to have a couple more years with them. The testimonials are off the charts with people that think that Pet Club 24/7 is the way to go. So go check out all of their great products. We interviewed the Ludlows last week, and it was just a pleasure to get to talk to them. And we're going to do it again. But the link is built in. You save 15% off. I would encourage you guys, if you like it, to also sign up for the monthly subscriptions as well. But 15% off, paulharrell.petclub 24/7. And we're going to take a break here and be back in just a moment.
This is our family dog, Bubba. He is a Shorty Jack Russell, and he brings a lot of love and laughter into our home. We just want to thank Pet Club for making healthy food and treats for our animals. Bubba has been on Pet Club food for a little over a year now. He really likes the Sequoia dry food, and then I put a scoop of the Sequoia wet dog food in there with some hot water and stir it up, and he absolutely loves it. And he likes the mush puppies, but his ultimate favorite is the antlers. Those keep him busy for a really long time, and he really likes them. It makes us feel really good that the food and treats that we give him have healthy ingredients in them, because we want him to be around for a really long time. Our previous dog was a lab, and his name was Titus, and we fed him in bulk, and we would just get his food from the big box grocery stores. And unfortunately, that food wasn't very healthy for him, and he ended up getting cancer and passing away. So we didn't want to make that mistake with Bubba, so we were really fortunate to find Pet Club and find some really healthy food for him to eat. So we would just like to thank Pet Club, and we just really appreciate the healthy food that they make, so we can keep this guy around as long as we can.
The other things that we're seeing, more and more use for is even vascular issues. So one of the mechanisms that red light, near-infrared light, or red vive works is stimulation of the mitochondria and stimulation of nitric oxide production. So when nitric oxide is released in cells, it vasodilates cells. It reduces inflammation. It moves blood. It brings blood flow to areas. So if folks that have issues with ulcers or burns or wounds, it can help stimulate increased blood supply, and you need blood to heal. So that can open up different avenues for peripheral artery disease, for neuropathic pain syndromes. And so that's one of the other areas for nerve injury or nerve pain that we can leverage this type of medicine.
For centuries, light has been used to heal. Awaken the body with Red Vive.
The Paul Harrell Program.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Broadcasting from Arkansas here on LFA TV, as well as the Paul Harrell Program YouTube page. We really appreciate you being with us. Can't do the show without you watching every single day. Just please like, share, subscribe. Do all the things, whether you're watching on Facebook, whether you're watching on X, whether you're watching on LFA TV, whether you're watching on the Paul Harrell Program YouTube. We would really appreciate you. Like, share, subscribe, everything you're supposed to do, because it helps us get the message out and grow. On my personal Facebook post the other day, by the way, I've been getting more followers on Facebook, my personal Facebook, from the LFA TV audience. You guys have friended me, and I made a post. I made a post last night about the whole UFO disclosure thing and the hysteria, and how, yeah, you saw that. So how it doesn't make sense it doesn't really make sense to the government's going to tell us the conspiracy theory of conspiracy theories and then not prosecute anybody else related to the Epstein files.
Freak out.
Yeah, exactly. But I had a lady from Oregon. She reached out and she said, "Hey, this is totally off the subject, but we love your show. Our family loves your show, and we're from Oregon, and so I don't know how you do it though. I will say this: I don't know how you do it, because when she said she was from Oregon, and don't get me wrong, like up there in the Northwest, like I've got family that used to travel a lot and used to be be musicians and stuff, and Still are, but used to travel around and do that. And they were telling me they spent the 4th of July one time in rural Washington State, and they said it was the most good old boy. It felt like the South. Like, I mean, they were allegedly blowing up propane tanks. I mean, they were celebrating the 4th of July. They were celebrating Independence Day. So I get it. You've got a lot of rural areas in Washington State and Oregon, and so you assume that those are going to be just like the rest of the country. We have totally different values than Portland or Seattle and that sort of thing. But I honestly don't know what you do. Like, I don't know how you do it. And I think if Arkansas all of a sudden went blue and became like California or something, I mean, I guess I wouldn't leave. I mean, it would take a lot to leave Arkansas, if you've been here for a long time, and like my ancestors have been here. The Heralds were in Arkansas in the 1800s. We got to Arkansas in the 1800s. I can trace my roots on both sides back, one to North Carolina in the year 1770, and then on the other side of my family, other side of the family, my great grandfather's name is on the Pennsylvania charter with William Penn.
Wow.
So, but obviously we have been in Arkansas for a long time now. We've been in Arkansas since the 1800s. So to all of a sudden up and leave because the state goes in a crazy liberal direction, it would be difficult because this is my home. This is my homeland. This is where I love this place. So I don't know if these people that were watching the show have lived in Oregon all their life, but it does make you think, like, why are you still there? Why have you not moved? And the only explanation is maybe at a local level, people are still okay because they may not be leftist crazies, but they're figuring out a way to survive in a leftist state. That's actually a great question for the comment section. Those of you out there who are on the right and you're living in a blue hellscape, like, how do you do it? Like, what's your thought process? Why do you stay? It may just be as simple as, well, have a good job. But are there other things? Are there family connections and family roots?
Or do you just all have the patience of Job? Like, because I'm the same way. I mean, I travel a lot for business and work, and go to a lot of courses in different parts of the country, usually in big metro cities, and I'll be there for a few days, and I'll try to get out and get around. I've spent time in New York, Chicago, Houston, L.A., Seattle, other places, and it's not like the minute I'm there, I can't wait to get out. Because, Paul, I mean, there's beauty in all those places. There's some good in all of those places. Right. And there's some entertaining and culinary and artistic beauty in a lot of those places. And I always try to seek that out as best I can and enjoy it for what it is. But when I do get home, I get exactly what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm glad I'm home.
Yeah.
Because I do see the things. I talk to my colleagues around the country and other big cities that hear what they have to deal with, and the prices that we have, that we make fun of, that we laugh about here, about our brisket and our gas. Like, I have friends and colleagues of mine that laugh at me and tell me to shut my mouth because me whining about $3.75 a gallon is idiotic compared to them because they're paying $6 a gallon. And, everything for them is just absolutely insane, and they don't have a choice. And all of their taxes are wildly higher than ours are. So I don't know. I didn't mean to go on a rant there. But
no, that's good.
It's like, I get it. But there is definitely beauty in this great country all over the country, and I'm not saying you weren't saying that there wasn't.
No, I mean,
there's good in a lot of these places, but it's just so hard because the people that are making the laws for these places have ruined them from a lot of good and a lot of things that I think maybe you and I take for granted around here because we're like, try that in a small town. Try that in a small town in Arkansas. We see all these news reports throughout the day, and we'll text each other and comment and talk and send each other little clips and stuff. Like, that would never happen here. or if they tried that, like it would just would not go well.
So a couple of comments. Calpurnia61, because we can't afford to move, housing prices are asinine.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one reason. We got somebody else here. Where did it go? Everything's moving too fast here. Somebody was saying because of their job. Oh, yeah, here it is, Bite Chomper. In Dane County, Wisconsin, here, because of family and work. Still hope, but not in this county.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I really feel for people who are in those situations. But, hey, you're there for a reason. You are there for a reason.
Be a light in the darkness.
That's right. That's all you can do.
You can be a city on a hill. I mean,
you can do that, and you can also try to organize and move the needle, move the Overton window politically too. But it's got to start local. It's got to be real local. I'm sure there in order to get some traction there. Whatever happened to the secession movement? Wasn't there a secession movement where people were wanting people in? I'm failing at my geography right now, but were people wanting to kind of petition to become part of the state of Idaho? Is that a real thing? It seems like it is. Where people were trying to petition to secede and become a new state. Let me see here. New state, Idaho. I feel like there was something like that. The Greater Idaho Movement is an active political effort advocating for many rural eastern Oregon counties to secede from Oregon and join the state of Idaho. As of May 2024, 13 Oregon counties have voted in support of this border change, which aims to align their rural communities with Idaho's more conservative political, legal, and economic environment. So it's a real thing, specifically with Oregon, where there are people that want to leave and become part of the state of Idaho. So anyway, that's nuts, dude. All right, here's the Gateway Pundit story. Gateway Pundit is reporting that the Department of Justice serves grand jury subpoenas for information on all 2020 election workers from Fulton County, Georgia. On April 17, 2026, a grand jury issued a subpoena to the Fulton County Board of Registrations and Elections to appear in the U.S. District Court in the Northern District of Georgia on May 5, 2026. Department of Justice prosecutors obtain a grand jury subpoena by preparing it in connection with an active grand jury investigation and issuing it under the grand jury's authority. In this case, the subpoena requests that the Fulton County BRE bring specific documents and electronically stored information. That information includes information regarding election staff / members who served in the November 2020 general election. The records must identify their name, position, function, residential and email addresses, and personal telephone numbers. The records include those who were performing the following functions and duties. They're listed there. Many of these individuals could potentially have pertinent information about numerous anomalies uncovered over the last several years. The Gateway Pundit has previously reported that Fulton County did not properly perform signature verification on mail-in ballots in Fulton County. According to testimony under oath from then Fulton County BRE member Mark Wingate during the disbarment hearing for former Deputy Attorney General Jeff Clark, Wingate also testified that he was prevented from viewing chain of custody documents prior to certifying the 2020 election. Both issues could potentially be explored with the above witnesses. So the Gateway Pundit also reported that the risk-limiting audit performed in Fulton County was subject to intense scrutiny from the UC Berkeley professor who invented the risk-limiting audit, Dr. Philip Stark, in Curling versus Ratzenberger. Ratzenberger is the guy from Cheers. So in Curling versus Ratzenberger, he submitted a sworn declaration that criticized hundreds of thousands of missing ballot images that would make it impossible to perform a valid risk-limiting audit. Anyway, the DOJ is, this is one of those things where we are on this long march of accountability. I'm not really holding my breath, but at the same time, I do know what's right, and I do know what we all saw in 2020, and I do know what needs to happen. And so there are grand juries assembled. There's one in northern Florida. There's one down in northern Georgia. There's one down in Florida. There are things happening. James Comey was indicted for threatening the President of the United States, which he absolutely should have been. He should be indicted for much worse, but we may be down to an Al Capone situation where you just have to get him on tax fraud. I don't even care. I just know these guys have got to be held accountable, or we're all slaves. This is my hypothesis. The longer these guys, you've got Eric CIA Ramella is now under even more scrutiny for being maybe the chief guy that organized Obama's fake intelligence assessment that we now know because of Tulsi Gabbard and Rick Crawford. By the way, we're back in touch, Eric, with Congressman Rick Crawford's office. Going to get him on the show next time they're in town for recess, or at least we're trying to make sure that happens. So that'll be a great episode if we can get Congressman Crawford back in on that side of the table, and hopefully we can do it with where both you and Rob are here, and the congressman. We'll have a great conversation and a great time, like we did the last time. But there's new developments that we got to get to. The most recent one was what was the most recent one? Can you remember what was the Rick Crawford? I mean, he was making the rounds, and it was another Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard exposed. What was the latest thing that she exposed? It wasn't the Obama faking the intelligence, but it was. It's escaping me right now. But
that was the last one that I remember.
Oh no, there was another one that came out recently because I know Rick went on and he did some press about it, but I'm blanking right now. I've got to find out now. Now I have to know. Let me see here. Let's see. Tulsi Gabbard. Let's see what happens. I think it was. It would have been the Eric CIA Ramella fake impeachment. Okay, that's what it was. Yeah, that was the latest one. Was Eric CIA Ramella, and how Adam Schiff was working with the whistleblower, and then it was DOJ criminal referrals, Eric CIA Ramella, as well as Michael Atkinson, the Inspector General of the intelligence community, was also referred to for criminal prosecution.
But unfortunately, that was the last you've heard about it.
Yes.
You heard about it for about 5 seconds, even with...
It was April 13th.
Yeah.
April 13th is when that was. DNI Tulsi Gabbard exposes conspiracy used by Congress to impeach President Trump. So that's what it was. Yeah, but... all I'm saying is it'll be an interesting conversation.
It's not like I expect The View or, MSNBC to pick it up as their lead story. Like, Obama caught red-handed.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. I was trying to find a punchline there. I couldn't find one. But
why did we ever trust him?
That's what I want. I want the headline.
He's dead to us now.
I want the headline that says, Obama birth certificate was a fraud. I want that.
Are you a birther?
Oh, 100%. You're not?
I don't care. I really don't care.
Well, I'm just...
not that I don't care. It just doesn't matter now.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. Yeah. But it would matter if it came...
I'm a father of 4 now, so I have to only deal in what matters now, because if I get too far in the weeds, my bandwidth and my brain just can
let me tell you. So but let me tell you why that would matter. You realize why that would matter, right?
100%.
It would matter because America's first black president was a total fraud.
A fraud, yeah.
And it would be hilarious. It would be like getting the first woman, it would be the kind of the equivalent of like if Joe Biden had resigned and Kamala would have become the president, it wouldn't have been from being elected. It would have been the first woman and first black female president would have been appointed, not elected. And that would have been hilarious. That the glass ceiling was broken, but not really, It would have been really funny.
Yeah.
But thankfully, President Trump's superpower is keeping women from the Oval Office. He's got a superpower. Hillary Clinton got denied. Kamala Harris got denied. But no, it would be huge if no one ever talks about the birth certificate thing anymore. I mean, but if it were ever to be, revealed, and I don't think it ever will be, but it would be incredible because I don't know for certain. other than the mysterious deaths, the airplane, and everything else, with the person that was apparently the custodian of the real birth certificate. You know, President Trump was kind of the guy that was like, you know, he wasn't born here, you know. And he pushed the birther conspiracy. You know, that's the one that's been out there for a long time. Oh, that's just a conspiracy theory. I mean, we're kind of waiting. We're waiting around. We're waiting around to see. I don't know if anything would ever come of it, and as us get like concrete documentation. But that would certainly be amazing if that ever happened. Supreme Court justices that he appointed. I mean, it would all be pretty much null and void. Obamacare, null and void. But anyway, here is, let's talk about Katie Porter. You guys know who Katie Porter is? She's running for governor in the Democratic state, the blue state of California. And you may not remember her, but she is the lady that went viral because, you know, she was treating her staffer like a, you know, piece of dirt, telling her, "You're in my effing shot." You're in my... Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But you were in my shot. Okay, that's who this lady is. Let's refresh your memory.
Give Californians what they need. It's going to take standing up to Donald Trump.
All right, let me stop. This is a juxtaposition here. So she's got a new ad running for governor where she tries to lean in to her "get out of my shot."
Give Californians what they need. It's going to take standing up to Donald Trump, calling out greedy corporations, and stepping on some toes along the way. Now, could you guys please get out of my shot? And the state...
Oh, Katie, you're so witty.
Listen to the laughter in the background. Oh, Katie. We love you, Katie.
They better pay those people at least $50 or more.
Yeah, I
to
doubt
stand
it.
there and do that.
Yeah, here it is.
My shot. The state could lose... Get out of my fucking shot. Okay, it does... Okay, you also were in my shot before that.
She looked so
Stay
ridiculous
out
on the
of my
stage of that
shot.
debate, by the way.
So
I actually watched it.
Oh, you watched the debate? Well, so I've got a clip of it. So this is what's so great. Because this is what she's known for, and because there's other Democrats running against her in a jungle primary. I mean, there's Republicans too. But it's kind of a rarity where we get where we get Democrats to make female stereotypes actually, you know, count again. And what I mean by that is now, because of this, they're using it saying, "Can you really trust Katie Porter's temperament?"
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. And we celebrated on this program that she is now being criticized essentially for being a stereotypical woman who is not in control of her emotions.
Yeah.
And I am 100% here for it.
Go ahead and lean into that.
I'm here for it. Yeah, question her all. Yeah, I don't trust her.
Go ahead and lean into that.
And I don't think the people of California trust her either. But
no, they don't.
We're all here for it, 100%. Gateway pundit Katie Porter squirms during debate when confronted with her meltdowns. And there was there was another one here.
Oh, yes. This is why I didn't want to do... I need the lights off. The bright lights. I'm so sorry, but I am about to get on. Bernard, I need you to turn these off. These that are killing me. Hang on one second, everybody.
Man, I can't wait.
Yes, we should have. Yes. Okay, everybody. I got that part.
Look at it.
No, just that dark is what the people want, hon.
Yes.
Ma'am.
So then they turned it off. Does she ever come back?
Bless her heart. Jeez.
Okay, everybody. I'm sorry about that. I am in a TV studio getting ready to go on Cuomo. And so I had all those studio lights on me, and I couldn't see myself or see you guys.
I couldn't see myself. It's like, oh my gosh, I think this woman is going to murder me. Like, she's got this intensity, this fire in her eyes. And she's literally holding it back, like she's holding back the rage of
Red said, wasn't Katie Porter in the movie Misery? She's Kathy Bates.
Yes. Holding back the rage of 1,000 hells in her eyes. You can see it, this lady. You can see this lady is very upset. So that's why...
It does look like Kathy Bates.
That's why this clip is so good. And the Democrats they're making issue of her temperament.
That highlighted your opponent here, Congresswoman Katie Porter, threatening to cut off an interview with a reporter. That came after a video surfaced of her berating a member of her staff.
Get
if a senior
out of
official
my
in your
effing shot.
government acted as she did in those videos, would you fire them?
Yes.
And you've put out an ad of your own, now making light of that interaction that you had with your
That's not
staffer,
correct, Caitlin.
which you said you apologized for.
That is not correct. The ad is about showing Californians what they've had a chance to see on this stage tonight and in every other debate stage that we've had, which is that I'm able to take responsibility, I'm able to follow the rules, I'm able to say I'm sorry, and I'm able to do better. Everybody in California had a chance to see me on stage with that reporter in the last debate and see exactly how I conducted myself. Californians can decide for themselves about my temperament based on what they've seen here tonight. And if these boys bullying and bickering hasn't been enough to raise questions about their temperament, I would really challenge that. I have taken responsibility at this point hundreds of times, and that's appropriate because I made a bad decision and I treated someone badly. I apologized 5 years ago for it, and we worked together for 4 more years. What I haven't heard is the people on this stage who have made other bad decisions and other mistakes and other failures of leadership. Not one of them, not one of these men have said in this entire campaign, I've made a mistake. Not for not being able to account for undocumented children who wound up in child labor. You called that MAGA talking points and a hoax, Mr. Becerra. I could go down the line. I don't even want to waste my time on this. I just want to say to California, I have taken responsibility. I have shown that. And what that ad is about, Caitlin, is about showing that I can laugh at myself. I can hold myself to account. And I have the fitness, the temperament, and the best ideas to be governor. And everybody's had a chance to see now in 3 debates how.
Thank you, Congresswoman Porter.
So, barring any election fraud that just like totally swings the state to Katie Porter, that's a wrap for her. She's over. She's done. Yeah. Even a leftist would watch that and be like, "Yeah, we've got red flags all over the place."
Yeah.
Without even bringing up the whole Karen stereotype, like, "No thanks, we'll pass."
even California is smart enough to pass here. I mean, these people. She hasn't changed.
You can tell.
Nobody believes that.
You can tell she hasn't. I mean, you really can. You can just tell she is a loose cannon.
She just wants to get through this, deflect enough. I haven't heard one man here on this stage admit to any mistake that they've made, but here I am making videos, making fun of myself. Aren't I great?
Oh, man. Okay.
Dude.
I'm launching. This is it's kind of out of left field, but there's a new conspiracy theory that I heard.
Well, but if it's a conspiracy theory, then it's probably right.
And this one's probably not true. But they claim this conspiracy. I think this is probably totally unfounded. I didn't do any research on it at all, but they claim that every October, the coffee places start pumping out pumpkin spice lattes, right?
Oh, where are you going with this?
And they say that in women, it triggers like hormones or something that increase their nurturing, their nurturing instincts, their empathetic instincts. And they were saying that this is because the elections are right around the corner, and it's going to create more women are going to vote for Democrats because of their pumpkin spice lattes. Again, I know it's out of left field, but it is kind of interesting when you think about Katie Porter, and there's not enough pumpkin spice in the world that's going to get her elected. Is my point, I guess. So
not enough pumpkin spice lattes or SSRIs.
Yeah, exactly.
To reference back to that again, she's obviously had a nice full dose of Prozac before she came up on stage, but it's not going to help.
Didn't stop the crazy. She also said she wanted illegal immigrants in California to get free health care.
Congresswoman Porter, your thoughts on the idea of funding health care for undocumented immigrants statewide?
Yes.
Yes, and
that's, by the way, what I think Californians deserve as answers
really well
to these questions, Alex.
And for critics who say that we can't afford it, what do you, Congresswoman Porter?
Yes. That's what Californians deserve. So illegal immigrants are Californians, she says. Pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. Get that transgender surgery for illegals, because once you say health care to illegal aliens, like, okay, do you have any parameters around health care? The answer is no.
Mm-hmm.
So that once that pendulum swings, it's sky's the limit, and
it's a
then
blank check.
All your ERs are full. All of your clinics are getting messed up, and you got surgeons being asked to perform mutilations, surgeries on illegal aliens.
Yeah, so we have this other story here as we kind of wind things down. So Christopher Nolan, accomplished director.
Sure.
Did the Batman Begins thing, Dark Knight, The Prestige, some of these, movies that I grew up with that I thought were really good. So he's coming out with this new...
Inception.
Yeah, Inception. Yeah, he's coming out with a new movie this summer called The Odyssey, right? The story of Odysseus after the Trojan War, after the story of the Iliad.
No way.
No, I'm dead serious. Now, I don't know. This has not been confirmed. She is in the movie. Okay, Ellen Page, who's a trans, who now goes by Elliot Page. She is confirmed to be in the film, but nobody knows what part she's playing, and there's speculation that she is going to be cast, or she has been cast, as Achilles.
No.
Now, the reason... So, people... This is already... If this is true, this is already the second blunder that they've made, because they cast Helen of Troy as, this black lady actress, who... doesn't look like Helen of Troy, right? The idea that Helen of Troy was black is preposterous, and people have had that, that comparison. And so now they're saying this would be another blunder if this is true, and she actually is Achilles. I can't imagine that they've actually cast her as Achilles. I will be shocked if that's the case. I don't know what her Achilles heel would be. Maybe, I don't know, maybe not having the equipment to actually be Achilles. would be your Achilles heel, but this is. I was kind of excited for this movie.
It'll flop.
Oh, it's gonna flop. Yes,
it'll be.
And
Troy was awesome. I mean,
yep.
Troy was a huge success.
It was
great movie. I like that. I like the movie Troy. Well, but this will flop.
There's already been talk about how the movie just looks really dull and dark, and it's not accurate. They've got soldiers wearing plate armor, which didn't exist back then. Now the only possible way this movie is good is that this is the Odyssey, not the Iliad. So Helen of Troy is not really in it. She should be in it at the beginning of the movie, and Achilles is not in it except for the beginning of the movie. It's the beginning of the story because the Odyssey is Odysseus' journey home. But it just goes to show you that the zenith of filmmaking in America was The Lord of the Rings in the early 2000s, and it is all downhill from there, and it's probably never, ever going to recover.
This cast is big, man.
Oh, it's a huge cast.
Matt Damon, Tom Holland.
Yep.
Anne Hathaway, Robert Pattinson.
It's a huge cast.
That's big. Charlize Theron.
Yep.
Wow.
But I don't know. I mean, stuff like this doesn't... The fact that they cast Helen of Troy...
they have Elliot Page, and there's no character name underneath, along with Lupita Nyong'o. Sorry.
Yeah, so this is who they cast as Helen of Troy. You see it on the screen right there?
Yeah.
So this is the original Helen of Troy from the movie Troy, and then this is the actress they cast, Lupita Nyong'o. And so
she's good. I mean, she was great in Black Panther. There were some other movies that I've seen her in, like
right. But this is just it's just this performative based virtue signaling that they feel that they have to do if they're going.
By the way, that picture on the right's not right.
Okay.
Not that it matters, but anyway.
This is the same one. That's not a picture of her?
Mm-mm.
I think it is. I mean, it's
what movie is that from?
I don't know. It's not a movie. It's not a picture. It's another movie she was in. I don't think it's a picture.
Gotcha.
It's just a picture of the actress. So, yeah, it's just going to flop. It's just insane. You go woke, you go broke. Speaking of going woke and going broke.
This will be the next Snow White.
Do you remember Rachel Zegler, the Snow White, who was actually Snow Brown?
Oh, I didn't know you were going to even say
Literally, that's the next. You didn't know, huh?
No, because what I assumed what would happen is the reason it would flop is they'd get Elliot Page and whoever else on the circuit to start promoting this movie, and they would say something ridiculous, and then it would flop.
Well, that's
like
what happened.
She did.
Well, that's what happened with this is Rachel Zegler girl, but it also flopped because she's brown. Like she's not. The whole movie was Snow White, and they cast somebody who was brown in it. I mean, she's got Latin heritage, right? And she's also just really strange. She can sing. I'll give her that. But she recently was at, where was she? This is, she was at the Met Gala, and she turned heads all the wrong reasons. Watch this, Eric.
She's fine, guys.
Oh, God.
So people are wondering, like, why is she putting like her bottom teeth forward? She got this really weird underbite. She's trying to look sexy. You can see it there.
She's Billy Bob Thornton in Sling Blade.
It just is so strange.
She's Billy Bob Thornton in Sling Blade.
And she did the same thing in Snow White. That's an image from her as Snow White.
There it is.
And so, yeah, it wasn't. And that movie was a giant flop too because they couldn't help with these Disney Live remakes.
They're idiots.
So somebody thinks they have a role for Rachel Zegler, and they put her in this. They put her in a Special Olympics helmet. Rachel Zegler stuns with a red retard safety helmet.
Bob says, "Man, not to lay with another man." It's like that's what she looks just ridiculous. Oh, there it is.
It's insane, man.
Poor thing.
Yeah, failed Snow White actress Rachel Zegler, who cost Disney more than $170 million. In her role as the princess, of being brutally mocked for her Met Gala appearance, particularly for her odd jaw moments. I would say odd jaw dropping movements, because it's just very strange. And again, I'll
the only thing you can do is just laugh at this.
Oh yeah,
because these are not real people. These are not. I mean, these are not people to be taken seriously. No one cares.
Thank you, Eric.
No one cares.
Yes.
Her thoughts. No one cares about her politics. No one cares about her nonsensical, what she's mad about at the world. Like, nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Thanks for hanging out with me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
Folks, that's all the time that we have for this edition of the show. Like, share, subscribe on LFA TV on Rumble. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe over on the Paul Harrell Program YouTube page. I want to give a shout-out to Red Vive Health, New Horizon Real Estate, Gateway Sight and Sound, 7 Weeks Coffee, Sherrod Chiropractic. God bless, and we'll see you tomorrow.